Okay, in this video we're going to talk about commands, what they are, how to construct them, and how to pass them additional information. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is open up a terminal. We can do this in Windows, Linux, Mac OS. Open up your terminal, we're going to connect to the CS server. I'm on Linux, so I have a Linux terminal right here, but I'm going to still go ahead and connect to the CS server so we get that consistent look. So SSH, and then your username. And then @ and cs.indstate.edu. Okay, so we're logged in and we have the command prompt right here. So if I want to type a command, one command that comes in handy is pwd, print working directory. So your terminal has a location in which it operates. Okay, so think of it kind of like if I open up a file browser here, my file browser is in my home directory. It has a location. The area that I'm viewing is in my home folder, or I can click on my desktop to see what's inside of my desktop. I don't have anything on this particular machine on my desktop, but it doesn't change the fact that my file browser is pointing at a particular area in the file system. I could look at documents or go back to home, right? So anytime I'm viewing something in my file browser, there is a particular location that I'm looking at. The terminal's no different. So when I type print working directory, that's a command, and I press enter, and it tells me the location of the directory in which the terminal is currently working. Okay, so again, this is the home directory of my user, CS201.0.0. Alright, and again, it's very important to think about it, conceptualize it like this view, like a file browser. Okay, so if I want to list out the contents of a directory, kind of like the file browser does, I type ls, right? And that shows me all of the items in my home directory. So everything we're doing here with the command line is just a text-based way of interfacing with the computer, right? This is just a graphical way. We're doing the same things though. I can change directories and go to the desktop, just like this, change directory, and I have a desktop folder in here as well, connected to the CS server. And see, we changed directories. My command prompt changed a little bit. I type ls, and I don't have anything in this particular directory. Right? So I can change directories. cd is the command, space, and dot dot. Now, dot dot is a shortcut that means go to the parent. All right? This is built into the file system. All right? If I type cd dot dot, it takes me back to my home directory. Every single directory has the shortcut for dot dot. If I type ls, or let's go back to the desktop, and I can type ls-a. That shows the hidden files and folders. Okay, hidden files and folders start with a dot. In this case, every single directory has built into it a link to dot, which means this directory. Whatever directory you're in, that is a link to the current directory. And then it also has a link to dot dot. Whatever directory you're in, that is a link to the parent. And that's part of the file system. That's built in. So when I change directories, I can say dot dot. That'll take me to my home directory. Or I could say dot dot slash dot dot, and that will take me up one from my home directory. Right, so I went up two directories there. That goes to the parent, and then that goes to its parent. And you can string these in any kind of path that you like. Right? So this is the command name, and then additional data or arguments provided to that command are separated by spaces. So we have one command argument here, and it's separated from the command name by a space. And so here we see all of the student accounts. Because I'm not in my home folder, I went up one, right? So this is the list of all the student and instructor home folders. If I want to get back to my home directory, there's a shortcut. I can use the tilde. So the cd command changes my directory, just like in the file browser, and I press enter, and we're back. We see we got the little shortcut there that tells us I'm home. If I want to make sure, print working directory, and sure enough, that's my home directory. You should definitely memorize your home directory. Okay, so just remember any data you provide to a command, any additional data past the command name are considered arguments. So ls-l is kind of a fancier way to use the ls command, and it lists items out one at a time and gives you additional information. Okay, so here's each of the items, and we have permissions and different things here. All right, so that's this is a command argument. This is a special kind of argument. It's called an option. Anything with a hyphen, one or two hyphens, those are usually command options. And they're basically switches that tell the command how to behave, right? So we're still listing, we're still using the ls command here, but we're telling it, don't do the thing that you normally do and just list things out, right? If I type ls by itself, that's just what it normally does. I'm telling it here with ls-l that I want a special result from this program. I want to list things out one item at a time. Okay, so this flag is built into the ls command. It knows if you provide this special option, it will behave a certain way. Okay, so options are built in to particular commands. Okay, this isn't just arbitrary data, right? It's a specific data that the ls command is expecting. So what kind of options do we have in a command? Well, we can find out a couple of different ways. Okay, if you ever have a command, a common thing you might try is ls. If I wanted to know about the ls command, ls-help. Okay, and it gives you information about the ls command. It's quite a lot of information. So don't get overwhelmed by terminal output. Just take your time, find where you executed the command, and then go through and you can read all the options. So here we see the -a, and so it says don't ignore entries starting with dot. So dot by default in Linux, or anything that starts with dot is considered a hidden file, right? So the -a flag shows the hidden files. And we scroll down and we can see -l, and so that used the long listing format. So these are all the different options, and almost every command has some series of options that it will accept. All right. Additionally, so that was the --help. Okay, even this --help is an argument. Most commands have a built-in help argument, right? Sometimes it's -h. Let's see if it is. No, that's not what it is on the ls command. Okay, but usually --help will get you the help text. Another way to find information on a command is use the manual pages. Okay, most commands that are built into Linux have a man page. I can look at the copy command, for example. I'll look and see what the manual page says about the cp command or copy. All right, and notice your terminal shell is kind of overtaken here. And so we can use the up and down arrows to kind of scroll through this file. So when you look at the man pages, it kind of overtakes your terminal. And if you want to get back to the command prompt, right, you press Q to quit. It tells you down here. Right? But anyway, this is not much different than the help text we saw in the ls command. Not every command has a manual page, and not every command has a help text, but it's a good place to start if you don't know how to use the commands. Most of them have one or the other. All right, so here are all the options to the copy command. And so if you ever have a question about how to use one of the commands, try the help text or the man page. Now notice here in synopsis it shows you how to use the command. So we have cp, that's the command name, right? And then any options, we talked about those. They'll start with a hyphen, or they could have two hyphens and then a longer name. And then you have a source and a destination. So this is additional information that you are providing to the command. And this can be anything. This is arbitrary. A flag or an option is specific, right? If I pass in -a, the program is expecting that I might do that, and it does something specific based on -a. Source and destination are paths, and those paths could be anything because I can name my folders and files anything. So this is purely user data that the program has no idea what it is. It's expecting a certain format. It's expecting a path of some sort, and we'll talk about what a path is exactly. It's basically just a way to locate a file or a directory in a file system. Okay, so this type of data, these are all arguments. But options are special arguments that the program is expecting, and it knows specifically what to do if you provide it with that special argument. Source and destination are user-defined arguments. All right. So an example might be the ls command. So I'm in my home directory right now. If I want to look and see what's inside of my labs directory, I can say ls. I can add an option and say that I want to list things out, and then I'm going to add another argument and say labs. So this is a path I'm providing it. My current working directory is in my home directory, right? So if I just type in labs, the assumption is I'm talking about the folder named labs, and that must be in my current working directory. All right, so if I press enter, it shows me that I have a directory called lab1 inside. But this command, we have the command name, we have an option as an argument, and then we have labs as an argument. Each additional argument after the command name is separated by spaces. Okay? So that is the basics of kind of navigating around the cd command. You can navigate anywhere you'd like to go, and again, the analogy of the file browser is important. So cd/ls. That's basically what's happening every time in the file browser when you click something. It changes the directory and then lists out what's inside of it, right? So we're changing directory to the root and then list out what's inside. Let's change directory to home and then ls what's inside. So get used to cd and then ls. That happens all the time, just to see what's in there. Okay, so that's how you navigate around.